everyone, my name's Jake. Welcome to our vlog, Just Jake. I've named my vlog Just Jake because it's just me. I'm going to be showing you me, my family, my life, giving you a bit of an insight of what I'm all about, my day-to-day happenings, and just to let you know a little bit about myself. I'm a father of 3. I am married to my beautiful wife now for I think 6 or 7 years, Karina. We've been together for about 10 or 11. I work full-time as a sports development officer in schools in Western Sydney. I also own my own fitness business called Hype Fitness. I like to play basketball, play OzTag, I play soccer on the weekends, I like to play the guitar and sing. And I also like gaming. Gaming's one of my passions. I'm currently trying to set up an online streaming channel called JB Gaming AU. We've got a platform on Facebook and Twitch. And we've got about 2,020 followers on our Facebook and roughly about 160 on Twitch, which is fairly new to us. But the process is trying to get all of our followers from Facebook over to Twitch. Now, the ultimate goal is obviously to provide a bit of entertainment for everyone, offer some laughs, and build a community that people feel like they can come to, relax, get to know one another and have a bit of banter, but also feel like they know me. And that's one of my missions, is to be able to get to know everyone, interact with as many people as possible. But at the same time, I want to be able to earn a little bit of income out of it to support my family, to produce higher quality streams. So I do that most nights of the week, and I probably spend maybe 2 to 3 hours a night online with our stream. So hopefully you can catch us on our streams if you want to get to know us a little bit better. But I'll be vlogging 7 days a week, so you'll get to see behind the scenes at work, at home, at sport. So I'm going to try and let you in on all facets of my life. I want to bring awareness as well that I have been and am going through an ongoing battle with some mental illness. I just returned to work from 5 weeks off due to a bit of anxiety and depression. I've been on medication for the last month now, which I've found really helps. Before we kick off anything in our vlog, I just want to let people know, if you are experiencing any dark thoughts, any anxiety, you're not feeling yourself, please speak to somebody about it. That is the very first step. I know it sounds like it's a cliche, and it can be hard, it can be embarrassing, it does take courage, but until I spoke out, no one knew what I was going through. My wife didn't realise, my closest friends, my family, they could, I guess, sense that something was off, and they'd ask if I was okay, but I just put on a front, say yeah I'm fine, you know. But until you say something and you're able to communicate and you have the ability to communicate, it's early in the morning, you can't really say that word, communicate, nothing's going to ever get done, and you're going to keep doing the same old thing you've been doing. And you know, if you keep doing the same thing that you've done, nothing's going to change. So for me, I found myself one day on the way to work, and I just started crying for no reason. I don't know, I was just listening to the radio, and I can remember it was just a song from The Voice, and I just started crying, and I didn't know why, and it was uncontrollable. And I got to work, and I sat in the car park, and I had a little bit of time to spare, and I thought to myself, why am I feeling this way? Why me? I knew I was feeling a little bit off for a few years. I was always an outgoing kid. I was in the band, I was in the choir, I was in the debating team, I did public speaking, I was in the chess team. I did all these things. I put my hand up for everything. I just wanted to be part of everything. But over the last few years, I've changed my ways. I'm not as outgoing. I didn't want to get into I guess, certain situations where I felt vulnerable. I didn't like going out into public where I didn't have control of the situation. I always thought the worst. I always thought something bad was going to happen. I felt on edge, and because I felt on edge, I'd take that out on my family. I wasn't being my true self. I was always putting on the front that I was happy, so people wouldn't sense it. But I was just sitting in the car at work, and I had to. It got to the point where I had to communicate to somebody. And I wasn't ready to do it face to face, so all it was a simple text message to my some of my closest friends who I work with, who are my bosses, one of which is my best mate and who I consider a brother. I feel like getting choked up here. But yeah, I messaged them and I said, look, I'm not myself. I don't want to do anything. I can't do it anymore. I had to see something be instigated for change, because it just wasn't happening for me, and my home life was suffering. I wasn't present for my kids. My kids would want to talk to me or play, and for me, I want to be the best person I can be. So it's not fair to my family or my friends or my work colleagues that, I wasn't true to myself. So that's where that text message came about. And I started work at a school. I started conducting the lessons, and I left my phone in the car, and one of my colleagues rocked up to replace me and said, go have a meeting with the boss. So I did, and I remember that trip driving to the office so I could have a meeting. We ended up having coffee down the road, so we did meet at a coffee shop. But I just remember in the car, the anxiety levels they were just massive. It was, my body was trembling. I was thinking in my head, how am I going to look these people in the eye? Like, being brought up, I never really had to communicate my problems, or I never really did communicate my problems. My family, just like many others, struggle with communication at times, and it's not to anyone's fault. It's just, I think that something evolves in a family dynamic, and that's what evolved in ours. And I just remember the feeling of, what am I going to do? Like, I've never really spoken about my feelings before. I've never been in that situation. I've always encouraged people to speak to me if they've got problems, but I've never looked after myself in that way. And one thing I've learnt is, and people have told me through the help I've sorted, if you're feeling sick or if something's wrong with your body, you go to a doctor, you go to a physio to fix it. But something in my head, something with my mental health was not up to standard. It wasn't 100%, and I hadn't tried to fix it before. So I built up and built up. So I got to the coffee shop, and my boss bought me a hot chocolate. And I just remember picking it up for the first time, and it was hot, but it wasn't at the heat where you couldn't pick it up. And I just remember it shaking. I couldn't even get the coffee cup to my lips. I was shaking that much, and it was the first time that I really acknowledged that this has really hit me hard, and I had to open up for this to get better. And I'll never forget that coffee cup shaking, because I knew I had to let it all out. And these guys were so unbelievable with listening to me. Sorry. They were I'll always thank them, because I do believe they saved my life. And I did open up to them at one stage, and I did have those dark thoughts where I thought, what would it be like if I just ended it? I never ever thought how I would do it, and it never got to that stage of when, how, what, when, wherever. But I think if I kept travelling down that path, it wouldn't have been too much longer where I would have serious thoughts about just ending everything. And in your head, and I know a lot of people don't understand, and once upon a time I hadn't understood either. I've got relatives on my excuse me guys, phone call, I'll get back to this. Apologies guys, that was just a work phone call. So going back to what we said guys, that there had to be massive change, and I did communicate, and I can't thank those fellas enough for changing my life. I'll always hold a special place in my heart for those two fellas that helped me. But after opening up and communicating, you know, the next step was to go see a GP, and they put me on a mental health plan. And I was able to go see a psychologist, and I did take about 4 to 5 weeks off work, where it was encouraged that I do some self-healing, and by self-healing that meant doing things that I enjoyed, and you know, something that would make me happy. So I spent my time off spending time with my kids. You know, I'd be going out on bushwalks, or I did a couple of little getaways down to Canberra and up to Swansea, do a bit of fishing, see some snow. And I just didn't think about work, and I think work was a little bit of a instigator towards my stress, my anxiety, my depression. And the meds obviously helped as well, and I was really, really apprehensive about going on medication. I thought it would change me as a person, and I guess in the long run it did, and I'm still on my medication. It has changed me as a person, but for the better, I guess, because my anxiety is down a little bit. I still do get anxiety, but I'm not so much having to deal with those dark thoughts with my depression. Obviously you do have some hard days, but those hard days are made a little bit easier because you have the ability now to communicate. You've got those tools to express your emotions a little bit better, and you're not as embarrassed, or you don't feel like you have to hide and not be yourself. And that's part of the stress, because you feel like you're cheating yourself. You feel like you're cheating everyone by not being yourself and not being honest to anyone. So that helps with the coping mechanism massively. But for now, with myself now, I'm back at work. I'm about a week in. And yesterday we had a bit of a conference where we did a workshop on resilience, and it was dead set the best thing that I have nearly ever done. Besides the birth of my kids, the marriage to my wife, it was an hour workshop, but I feel like it put things in perspective for me, and it taught a sense of resilience. It spoke about mental health, being grateful, being mindful, having empathy, and I really, really, really appreciated my workplace putting that workshop on. And I don't know if it was just for me or if it was for the whole group, but I really have a sense of wanting to get involved in helping other people deal with their mental health issues. So for anyone that is watching my first vlog, and I'm sorry that it is about mental health and so depressing for my very first one, but I wouldn't be doing any viewers justice if I didn't lay it out all on the line and put all the cards on the table straight up. This is me, this is what I'm dealing with day in, day out. And like I said, some days are great, some days are bad, but this is me. And if anyone does need someone to speak to, anyone needs pointing in the right direction, please contact me either through the YouTube channel, through my Facebook channel, through Twitch, and all the links will be provided below. Please contact me. I've already had people come out of the woodworks that I've never met in my life that have messaged me through I posted on Facebook when I came out about my depression, anxiety, and I laid everything out on the table on social media. And I'm never one to air my dirty laundry, but I wanted people to understand what I was going through. If I was being rude, if they thought I was, not interested in conversation, if I wasn't present. So I just laid everything on the line. And I had a couple of people come out on Facebook, message me and say thank you so much. I now feel like there's someone else that understands how I feel. I don't feel as alone. And I'm still currently speaking to those people on Facebook and sharing my experiences. And I feel like I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I think that's an attitude, a positive attitude to take on board in life. I am a strong believer in fate, and that everything happens for a reason. Saying, because if I hadn't dealt with my depression and anxiety, I wouldn't have the chance to help others deal with that and understand what they're going through. So if there's one mark I leave on life, and I don't expect fame, I don't expect fortune, I don't expect any of that, but I do want to be remembered for being a good person, and for understanding that people have struggles. They don't have perfect lives. Everyone has a story, and I want to be able to help those people. I want to make a difference. I just want people to feel good, because life's too short to be living life feeling down, lonely, sad, worried, any of those emotions. So again, if you're feeling any of those whatsoever, or you're just feeling off, please contact me, and I'm more than happy to lend an ear. No matter how many followers, subscribers we've got, I am willing to make that time to listen and be an advocate for mental health. So guys, this is my first blog. I'm going to leave it there because I think it's gone for nearly 20 minutes or so, but from tomorrow you'll be able to see what happens at work, at home. You'll get to meet my family. You'll get to see some, you'll get to see some basketball action. I'll be at basketball tomorrow night, so you'll get to see some of my mates as well. There's going to be some good times ahead. You're also going to see a little bit about my gaming. You'll get to see some of my music. So I'm looking forward to opening the book, so to speak, and for you to get to know me, but also hopefully I get to know a few of you guys and make that difference. So thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to the good times ahead. Peace.